We lie to others to protect ourselves, but the most dangerous lies, they're the ones we tell ourselves. It's a chilling truth, isn't it? The human mind is a remarkable thing, crafted not just to perceive truth, but to weave intricate illusions when reality becomes too painful to bear. This isn't merely about deception, it's a matter of survival, a dark dance we often don't even realize we're part of. Today we're diving deep into how the mind transforms deception into an art form. This isn't just about the calculated moves of a master manipulator. It's also about the subtle, quiet corners of our everyday lives where we hide from the truth. Why do we lie? It's not always a conscious choice to be dishonest. At its core, lying serves as a defense mechanism, an evolutionary tool honed over countless generations. We lie to avoid punishment, to maintain our social standing, or to protect our fragile self-esteem. Imagine a child who breaks a vase. In that moment of panic, they might instinctively blurt out, "It wasn't me," just to escape the consequences. This instinctual response is rooted in fear, a primal reaction to protect oneself from perceived danger. Now, as adults, the stakes are much higher, but the principle remains the same. Our minds learn to distort memories and bend narratives, all in the service of preserving our emotional stability. It's like a fundamental part of our psychological toolkit, quietly working in the background. But what happens when we start lying to ourselves? Welcome to the eerie world of self-deception. Our brains are wired to prioritize emotional comfort over cold, hard accuracy. This is where a powerful psychological concept called cognitive dissonance comes into play. When our actions clash with our beliefs, it creates this uncomfortable mental tension. Instead of changing our behavior to align with our beliefs, we often opt for the easier route. We change our beliefs. We craft a new story, a new narrative that justifies our actions, like a well-spun web that entraps us further. In this internal battle, the lie becomes our armor, and the truth transforms into a threat we must defend against. We convince ourselves that our version of events is the real one simply because it feels better. It's a dark twist, isn't it? The mind's ability to create comforting fictions can lead us down a treacherous path where the lines between reality and illusion become increasingly blurred. Now, let's step into the mind of a master manipulator. For them, deception isn't just a last resort defense mechanism, it's a conscious, strategic tool. These individuals don't just lie, they weave intricate webs of deceit designed to control outcomes and influence people. Their lies aren't impulsive, they're rehearsed, layered, and meticulously crafted with a specific goal in mind. They become students of human behavior, studying reactions rather than morals. They learn what people want to hear, what they fear, and how to exploit those emotions. Consider the infamous con artist, whose charm can pull you in like a moth to a flame. They might spin tales of hardship and struggle, invoking sympathy to gain trust, and ultimately your money. Their lies are not mere fabrications. They're a carefully constructed reality that ensnares their victims. For a manipulator, lying isn't about dishonesty in the conventional sense. It's a calculated tactic for survival and dominance in their world. The stakes are high, and the game is often ruthless. What's happening inside our brains when we tell a lie? Neurologically, it's a fascinating and somewhat chilling process. Lying activates the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for complex decision-making, planning, and impulse control. It literally takes more mental energy to lie than to tell the truth, because your brain has to invent a falsehood while simultaneously suppressing the truth. But here's the scary part. With repetition, the brain adapts. The emotional responses we might feel, the guilt or anxiety, begin to fade. The brain becomes desensitized to its own dishonesty. The more we lie, the easier it becomes, and the neural pathways for truthfulness can start to weaken. Over time, the line between what's real and what's fabricated begins to blur, and we find ourselves lost in a fog of our own making. Most of us aren't master manipulators, but we all wear social masks. We live behind a veil of small, seemingly harmless lies. Think about it. How many times have you said, "I'm fine," when you were anything but? Or, "It's okay," when you were deeply hurt? Or, "I'm happy for you," when a pang of envy twisted in your gut? These little white lies serve a social purpose. They create an illusion of stability and prevent friction. They help us navigate complex social interactions without constantly exposing our raw, vulnerable selves. But there's a cost. This mask, while protective, can also become a prison. It disconnects us from our authentic feelings and genuine connections with others. We project an image of who we think we should be rather than who we truly are. This dynamic becomes especially potent in our closest relationships. Emotional manipulation often doesn't start with outright, blatant lies. It begins with selective truth. People omit crucial details, not necessarily with malicious intent, but to maintain control, avoid conflict, or hold on to affection. They tell you just enough to shape your perception in their favor. Each secret, each omitted fact becomes a single thread. It might seem insignificant on its own, but when you start pulling on enough of them, you realize the entire fabric of the relationship can unravel. Trust erodes not with a bang, but with a series of quiet, calculated omissions. Here's where the art of deception reaches its final, most profound stage, when the mind fully believes its own lie. Through constant repetition, a lie doesn't just remain a story we tell, it begins to reshape our memories and even our identity. The liar starts to genuinely believe their own words. The fabricated narrative becomes their reality. The brain, in its effort to eliminate cognitive dissonance and maintain a consistent self-image, integrates the falsehood into its core programming. This is the point where illusion replaces conscience. The internal alarm that signals dishonesty goes silent because, for that person, the lie is now the truth. So why does the unvarnished truth often feel so threatening? Because truth forces confrontation. It makes us face our pain, our guilt, our failures, and our shame. These are powerful, uncomfortable emotions that our brains are naturally programmed to avoid. And so, we rewrite reality. We construct elaborate justifications and alternative narratives to shield ourselves from the emotional fallout of our actions. We often find that we prefer the comfort of a well-crafted fiction over the messy, unpredictable chaos of the truth. Take, for example, the story of a successful entrepreneur who built a thriving business from the ground up. On the surface, they appear confident and self-assured, but beneath that polished exterior lies a web of lies. They might convince themselves that their success is solely due to their hard work, ignoring the countless times they cut corners or misled others. Over time, they begin to believe their own narrative, distancing themselves from the truth of their actions. This self-deception can lead to a fragile sense of self, one that crumbles when faced with criticism or failure. It's a form of psychological self-preservation, but one that can lead us far away from ourselves. In the end, lies are not just words. They are mirrors reflecting who we wish we were or what we fear we are. Understanding the psychology of deception isn't just about learning to spot a liar or protect ourselves from manipulators. It's a much deeper journey into recognizing the illusions we construct within our own minds. The same mind that has the power to create and believe a lie also has the power to awaken. By looking into that mirror, by daring to face the truth, we can begin to remove the mask and find our way back to authenticity. It's a terrifying but necessary journey, one that requires courage and vulnerability. The path to authenticity is often littered with the shards of our illusions. It's not easy to confront the lies we've told ourselves, especially when those lies have become a part of our identity. But in this process, we can discover a deeper sense of self, one that is rooted in honesty and integrity. So, as we navigate this complex landscape of lies and truths, let's remember that confronting our own deceptions can lead to profound self-discovery. It can be a painful process, but it's also liberating. It's about peeling back the layers of self-deception and embracing the raw, unfiltered reality of who we are. Imagine standing in front of a mirror, stripped of all the facades and masks. What do you see? The unvarnished truth can be uncomfortable, even scary, but it's also where growth begins. When we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, we open the door to genuine connections with others. We can finally break free from the chains of our own making and embrace the messy, beautiful chaos of life. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive into the human mind. If this sparked something in you, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss our next exploration. Stay curious, and above all, stay true to yourselves. Remember, the journey to authenticity is worth every uncomfortable step. It was Profile Evil.